Hello, and thank you for joining me for our Connect University today. I am very excited to be presenting on the additional options for volunteer opportunities. As you know, HandsOn Connect is our signature platform for volunteer engagement, but we also offer other services to our customers to support their Salesforce needs, as well as presentations from partners that we work with to help you expand and meet your needs for other areas of your organization. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Art Erdoki, and my role here is to help you as our customers be successful and work with those partners to help expand the possibilities of the technology that you're using. Because we only have 20 minutes today and there's a lot to cover, I am going to go kind of fast through this, but we are recording this session, and all of these features that I'm presenting today are documented through our support documentation. So what are we going to be talking about today? Last week, my colleague Larry presented on the various types of volunteer opportunities for date and time and individually scheduled and how best to utilize those. So today we're going to go a little bit further and deeper into those volunteer opportunities, and we're going to cover these 7 types of additional options that you can use to manage and engage those volunteers and make it a really successful experience for your organization as well as your partner organization. So the first one we're going to talk about is restrictions. Now, many of these are already turned on by default. All of these exist in your system, but some of them are not commonly used. So to clear out the clutter, we have removed them from page layout. It's really easy to just add them and make them available. One thing that I want to point out is that for date and time specific projects, restrictions are automatically applied. So if you apply a restriction, whether it's one of these that you see here or skills, which we'll talk about soon, it is automatically going to be applied. Now, for our individually scheduled, since these are express interests, you have the option to not apply the restriction. So therefore, if someone doesn't meet the minimum age or hasn't yet completed the orientation, you could still let them express interest and just follow up, but it allows you to kind of help put some of those in there as kind of desired items. With regard to background checks, we do have integration with verified volunteers, and so that uses the minimum required level of verification field you see on the left of the screen. If you are not using the verified volunteers integration, but you are using some other background check, you can check just kind of like the general background check required field and manage that through the contact record for your organization. The 3 fields you see on the right, orientation required, background check required, and minor waiver on file required, these are for your organization. These are not fields that are available to your partners because there isn't a way for you to manage all the volunteers. Did they attend the orientation for this partner versus that partner? These are meant to be your orientations for your organization, your background check, or if you are maintaining a minor waiver for that individual. So just keep that in mind. The 3 on the right are just for you as a HandsOn Connect customer. The ones on the left, minimum age, minimum required level of verification, and maximum age, those are available to your partner organizations through the sharing portal. The next one is skills. Now, skills is a really special option. You can create your own custom skills list, and there's ways to do that in the documentation. But if you're going to add this to the volunteer opportunity, there are kind of 3 steps. The first thing is you want to click on the new skill rating, and this is going to be in that related list. Then you're going to search for the skill. The volunteer opportunity is already going to be populated since you started from there. And then you're going to want to identify, is this a required skill? And meaning that if a volunteer does not possess that skill, they will be blocked from registering for that volunteer opportunity, or is this a desired skill? You have that flexibility using this custom field, skill volunteer required, no or yes. So let me show you how some of these work in real life. It's this one. So here we have Suncoast Vita mobile site, and they have identified that the minimum level of the background check, since you're going to be dealing with individuals' taxes and helping them out, is that you do have a level 1 background, and that you also have some skills, and they've made those required. So when the volunteer sees this on the site, they will see that a skill is required, and also that a verified volunteer level background is required, and the volunteer opportunity will have the verified volunteer insignia automatically added to the project. So how do restrictions work? Well, as you would imagine, when a volunteer signs up for the opportunity, so let's refresh here. So as a volunteer, the volunteer that I'm logged in as does not have a background check and does not have these skills. So when they go to sign up, they will receive a message. So if they don't have the background check, they'll receive the background check message with a link of how to go ahead and request that background check and start that process online. If they had the background check, then they would get the "you do not have the skills." Same things with minimum ages, maximum ages, and those other restrictions. We have various pop-up notifications that apply if the volunteer trying to sign up does not meet the requirements. This is there to help you, kind of pre-screen those volunteers to make sure that you're focusing on volunteers that meet your needs. So let's jump to the next type. Now we're going to move to volunteer events. Now volunteer events are really great for community-wide events where you are organizing a multitude of volunteer opportunities for the community. For example, we have a number of Day of Caring events coming up, as well as the 9/11 Day of Service. So in HandsOn Connect, there's an object called Volunteer Events. You go there, create the new volunteer event, provide the start date, end date, brief description, and such. And then in the opportunity itself, there's a field and a section called "Is this opportunity part of an event?" Very easy there. And you just select the event, and then the event page, as you see here at the bottom of the screen, presents the date range, the description you entered, and the opportunity to see those opportunities. So let me show you those events. So we'll click here on the Day of Caring. As you can see, I have the description. I have all the volunteer opportunities associated with this. So there's a lot of projects associated with this opportunity. And when I go to see the opportunity page, I can click there and I will see all those volunteer opportunities and be able to search for them. This is really helpful for your volunteers to be able to find just the projects they're looking for. There is a filter for participating in this event, and so you can use that to also create saved searches yourselves, to create other links and such. If you are looking at the calendar, rather than showing every single event on the calendar, you will see the volunteer event name in a different color, green or whatever color you have designated for special events at the top. So that way it keeps your calendar clean. And again, that's another way to access the event page that we were looking at just a moment ago for the Day of Caring. Here's one for 9/11 and shows you how you can embed graphics in there as well. All right. Invitation codes. Now these are really helpful for projects that you have for corporate partners or sponsors. It can also be used for special groups of volunteers. Maybe you have a teen program that high school volunteers are able to participate in. You really curate those projects just for them. Or maybe you have projects that are specific for families and you kind of have a special group and you want to be able to highlight those opportunities and kind of keep them out from just general signups. The invitation code is a way to create that. The first step when assigning an invitation code is you do have to create the organization record in your system. So you create a new organization. Most of these are going to be businesses and have the status of active sponsor, but you can also do it as active partner. If you're using the record type business, you'll have a field in there called invitation code where you enter their custom code into their account. Once that's set up, then you can go to the, is this opportunity private? This is part of the volunteer opportunity record. And it will have this field, requires invitation from, and you do a lookup to the business, or if you're using a program as a business, to that organization record to associate that opportunity. Once that association has been made, then there's the search box on the page that allows you to enter the invitation code, those volunteers to enter the invitation code and find those projects. This can also be used to create a special feature that's part of HandsOn Connect and will be covered at a later Connect University, which is our corporate pages. So let me give you, let me actually show you where the project is. So here's our organization. So we have UPS. I've entered that invitation code right there, and I can customize it if I need to update it, whatever I need to do. It's just managed through that field. When I go to my volunteer opportunities, you'll see right underneath the volunteer event section, there's the is this opportunity private, and you'll see the place to do that lookup. And it automatically populates the invitation code so you can have it as reference in case you forget what it was. So when I go to the search page, if I scroll down to the bottom, I can enter my invitation code there. And it will look up all the volunteer opportunities. I think I still have the event filter, or I haven't created, I guess the project has lapsed. But you can see the invitation code there. If you want, you can also create what I was saying is those corporate pages. Those are accessible through direct links to your corporate partners, or again, to your teen or family programs. You can customize the landing page and then enter the invitation code here, and they would be taken to their search results and be able to see it. This is a great way to recognize your sponsors and make them feel special by having a special page dedicated just to them. All right, I know there's a lot of information, but it's all kind of documented in our support desk. So I know I'm going fast, but this is just to give you an introduction on what these features and availabilities are. The next one is custom questions. Now this one's a really great tool. It can be used in multiple ways, from capturing t-shirt size to asking volunteers to bring supplies to the programs, or asking about their previous experience and such. You can create a number of custom questions from text boxes to date, to radio buttons, to pick lists, to multi-select. There's a wide variety of options. The other great thing is that the questions are reusable. So if you're asking volunteers for their t-shirt size, if they've provided that answer before, it'll default to give them that answer, and or to show what they've answered before, and let them move on really quickly. Also helps you keep your data clean because it doesn't have a lot of different t-shirt size questions. When the volunteer goes to sign up for the opportunity, it presents them a pop-up where they can answer those questions, and you can also make them required if you wish. So let me show you where that question lies. So we're going to go here to the part cleanup. This add questions, usually not there by default. It is something that you would have to add if you want to be able to use this. When you add a question, you can search your existing database of questions, again, to be able to reuse the questions or not. Or if you don't have the question, you can create it right there in the system. As I mentioned, we have a lot of different options to make them, and you can make them required. The volunteer opportunity is already going to be populated for you since we started from that process. So how does this work for the volunteer? When I go to sign up for an opportunity, I hit sign up, and the pop-up question automatically appears. I'm able to choose the supplies that I'm going to bring and proceed through and complete my sign up. So that's how the questions work on the volunteer opportunity. Now, these records are stored in the answers object, which is a related list. If you do want some advanced functionality to be able to map the answers directly to custom fields in your Salesforce instance, that functionality is available through our advanced registration system. That's a separate add-on that just kind of gives you a lot more power on how to create those questions. And that was covered in a previous Connect University. So look up the advanced registration to give you a sense of how that can be used in place of the generic or basic custom question. The next is prerequisites. This, I think, is a really powerful tool for organizations that require certain levels of training for participation in order to participate in a project. So in this case, we have a program called Technology Saturdays. But in order to volunteer for the Technology Saturdays, you do have to have completed the Technology Mentor training. And so what the system allows you to do, if you enable the prerequisites, is to present the volunteer with a requirement that's, again, it's a pop-up that says, you are required to attend the Technology Mentor training before you can complete the sign up. Now, the system is smart. If the volunteer has already signed up for the Technology Mentor training, it'll skip asking them to sign up again. It does check to see if they have an active connection. So if they signed up but they missed the orientation or the training session, it will require them to sign up again. It also wants to make sure that they sign up for a training session that takes place prior to the first time they're going to volunteer. Now, one thing to be aware of with the prerequisites is that it does apply only to the date and time specific projects. It does not apply to the individually scheduled express interest opportunities, since the volunteer is expressing interest and you're able to kind of work with them to attend whatever trainings or background checks and stuff are necessary. So when you're working, you do create the prerequisite first, and then you click the Add Prerequisite button, and then you're able to search your opportunities to find the prerequisite and associate it and click Save. I've already done that for this project, so I'm not going to do it again. So now when I go to the project for Technology Saturdays as a volunteer, I click Sign Up. It presents me that pop-up. There's a link to the Technology Mentor training. It takes me immediately to that page and notifies me that this is a prerequisite and I must sign up for something in order to complete my registration for Technology Saturdays. If I do not sign up for a shift of the training, it will not sign me up for the Technology Saturdays either. I do have to sign up for both in order to participate. All right. Prerequisites, again, is not something that's enabled by default, but we do have documentation on how you can turn this on. This feature is just available to HandsOn Connect customers. It is not available through the sharing portal. And the last one is grouped occurrences. Again, this is really helpful for training classes or other programs that you may have where a volunteer is required to attend all the sessions. So in this case, we're using our animal feeding training. It's part of our Humane Society work, right? So there's a 3-part training that volunteers must sign up for in order to complete this project. And so from the opportunity, I create the opportunity just like I normally would. And then once all the occurrences are created, I click to create a new group of occurrences, choose the occurrences, and then make it active for the volunteer. So let me show you how that is. Again, this is something that you would enable for your staff at your organization. It's not available to your partners. So I would create all my occurrences just like I normally would. Once I've done that, I would scroll down and there's a related list that I would add for grouped occurrences. I click New Grouped Occurrences, and it shows me all the occurrences that do not currently exist in a group. So I've already grouped, as you saw from the screen on the left there, those 3 occurrences. So that's why they're not available to be part of another group. I also have the option to register for all occurrences, meaning it doesn't allow the volunteer to sign up for the second one without having signed up for the first one. If you do not require register for all occurrences, this could be good for like weekly reading programs where a volunteer can just jump in at any point during the semester. And then from that point on, they are expected to come every week. So if you leave that unchecked, it lets the volunteer start at any point, and then anything down from there that's part of that group will be something that they sign up for. This makes it a lot easier for your volunteers because when I go to sign up, I don't have to sign up for the 23rd and then come back and sign up for the 26th and sign up for the 20th. When I click on here, I see this note that this occurrence is part of a series, and I'll automatically be signed up for the other 2 sessions. And so with one simple click, I'm able to create all 3 of those connections automatically for the volunteer. So that concludes those additional options that we have for volunteer opportunities. As you can see, it provides you a lot of flexibility and a lot of options to really display and manage the volunteer opportunities that work best for your organization. If you have any questions on how to enable these, the documentation is available in our support documentation. Some of these, like the grouped occurrences and prerequisites, are part of our advanced features, but things like volunteer opportunity questions, skills, those are just general features that for simplicity's sake, we have them often hidden in from the start, but you can very quickly and easily enable those by adding the right related list or fields or buttons to the volunteer opportunity object. I hope you enjoyed today's Connect University. I do want to remind you of some additional programs that we have coming up. Next Tuesday, we have a really exciting program with our new partner, Cabot Creamery. They have a Cabot's Reward Volunteer Programs where volunteers can earn prizes and your organization can earn cash donations. So help get your volunteers recognized and win some cash prizes for your organization as well. All attendees for that one will receive a special VIP coupon, and we will be doing a drawing for a $75 gift bag from Cabot. Next Thursday, we will be continuing our series on volunteer opportunities and doing a session on how to migrate from the to-be scheduled to the individually scheduled. Now, this is for customers that were on HandsOn Connect 2 and moving to HandsOn Connect 3.0, making that change. And then a week from Tuesday, we have another partner coming, and this is Mowgli SMS, and they do text message-based campaigns, surveys, and push notifications. So you definitely don't want to miss any of these 3 sessions. And there's so many more coming up in the next few weeks as well. So you can register for all of these at handsonconnect.org/webinars. And don't forget to check out our history of great content through our YouTube channel. You can also find them at handsonconnect.org. Last week's Choose the Right Volunteer Opportunity Type is already up there, and previous sessions such as our HandsOn Connect Form Builder are available for you as well to review. Thanks again for joining us today, and I hope to see you at the next Connect University.